everybody. So I want to touch on something. So Bernie Sanders has been doing phenomenal with the popular vote all across the country, with only one or two places in the United States where establishment candidates have a stronghold, but. Interesting enough, if you go check with the New York Times, and I hate the New York Times. Uh, so again, I state I hate the New York Times. But they showed a map, and the entire country is basically blue, and that's the standing with Bernie, uh, with a few red or lighter red areas, which is establishment. So, and those are for like the Amy Klobuchars and the Biden and Buttigieg and Warren. So I think I've made this point that Warren is not a leftist. She's not a progressive. She's nothing of the sort. She's certainly doesn't approve of Medicare for all. She certainly doesn't approve of all the stuff that she quacks about. But basically, all she does is quack. She'll cave like a cheap blanket. Buttigieg is a slimy prick who should be in jail. With what he did in South Carolina, sending an email to, and then saying, if you don't respond, then we're going to assume that that you're endorsing us, and that's never mind his taking bribe and pressure from white cops when he was a mayor to oust the first black police chief. And this recent debacle in Iowa where Pete Buttigieg surrogates did a coin flip. It's being now reported that three places in Iowa did that. They didn't even mention whether or not it was heads for Bernie or tails for Buttigieg. They just simply did a coin flip, and they didn't even show you if it was heads or tails. And the people that were doing the coin flipping were people that were literally wearing Buttigieg stuff, and then one young asshole tried to imitate a magic trick, except you could actually see him actually making the coin face whatever the hell, and then they called it. They don't even confirm it. So you have that, and then Buttigieg has for the fact that he was a mayor, but before he got into politics, all his connections to companies and corporations and establishment, it just. All right, I'm getting off topic. But at the same time, they're doing they're doing rules changes in California and multiple other states to try to basically eliminate as much of voters for Bernie and others like Tulsi. We already know what they've done with Tulsi, and I definitely bias in that I want Bernie, and while I do have some problems with Tulsi, she is definitely anti-establishment to a point. All the others, they should be in jail. their policies are criminal. Their self-serving bias is criminal. I've stated before on my videos that I equate that to extortion. I equate that to crime, con. There is no such thing as white collar, because white collar gives you a false sense, when in fact these quote unquote white collar crimes basically affect more than a person who murdered somebody. And that's just one person. We're talking about economic, social, health, the entire spectrum. And it impacts millions. Never mind the wars that they've gotten us into, sending our Americans to go die, and also kill and become mass murderers, committing war crimes. So that's not my feeling. It's laws, because there are still laws on the books that say you can't do this, yet they do it. You smoke marijuana, you can go to jail for 30 years, or extract CBD oil to tackle Crohn's disease, so that you can get back onto your feet and get off of the social social net programs, and you can have your children taken away from you, and be sent to jail for 30 years. Or you steal a leather jacket or a leather purse, and you're in jail for like 75 years. That's Yet we have cops going around shooting people. We have politicians and judges and DAs, and you got the Homeland Security, FBI, NSA, CIA, DOD, all of them basically doing things that break every laws of convention. Yet they put in these rules, regulations, and laws that exempt them. How many of you believe you should be exempted if you commit economic fraud, which affects millions of people, such as the Trump's guy, Steve Mnuchin, who through Countrywide and another mortgage company basically defrauded and made defrauded millions of homeowners, and basically kicked them out of their homes. Anyways, I digress. The whole point of this is that Bernie has been doing phenomenally well. He raised $25 million just in January, and that's great. But it's also it's criminal and sinful that we must have this sort of money in order to put people who want to represent the people, for something as vital and important as that, to have to raise that sort of money and spend that sort of money is just it's criminal, and that's because of the system. We need to get money out of it. Television stations and even social media platforms should be forced to put campaigns, those running at no cost. Now, we do need money so that in campaigns, so that people can put grassroots boots on the ground, and so on and so forth. But having to spend millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to run as a candidate, and then not only that, but the media can pick and choose who's gonna run or who they're gonna air. That's just criminal. So those sort of things should be completely and utterly eviscerated. And the Iowa, I didn't know what caucus was, but this Iowa debacle has shown me and it's not a debacle, it's a crime. I mean, you got Buttigieg who paid over $40,000 to the company Shadow, which is basically a criminal organization, and I forget the name of the organization that paid Shadow to create that criminal app, which was Hillary and Obama's people who worked on Hillary's campaign and started up that stupid that criminal behavior. So we need to get rid of money in our political system. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. We also need a media who must be forced by law, that cannot be changed. It must be made permanent that if you own a media station, whether it's radio, TV, or newspaper, you must put every single person running for whatever position, from local to state and federal, you must do that. And you cannot expect money for it. That's the way it should be. We need to get rid of gerrymandering. We need to get rid of voter ID. We need to get rid of all the things that keep people from voting. We need to go to a paper, multifaceted voting way. So we have a paper, we have a electronic, and then we need a receipt for those who vote. And we need to make it so that you go to your town hall or your middle school, your high school, and those, or the post office. Those have to be the polling stations. So that's what we need. Because if anything, the Republicans already demonstrated. I think a lot of people have seen what the Republicans are doing. So gerrymandering, we need to get rid of gerrymandering. We need to get rid of all these fixed, rigged rules that criminally bias, so that those who have money or who already have position can get into office. We need to put in laws that make sure that judges are qualified, meaning that they have to have gone to school and have actually had to work and learn, and not just given because they have connections, and so on and so forth. There's a ton of stuff, but one of the things I would like to do, and that is start up a system where people donate money, and it's called the Independent Civil Dependence Fund. So basically, what it is there will be a charter on what you have to stand for, and that is looking out for the interests of the greater public, the working class, every throughout the entire spectrum, except for those who have who fund think tanks, who have hold large shares in corporations, the wealthy, and so on and so forth. Those are completely and utterly out of bounds. No media connections, no no media connection or any of that. So what ends up happening is no, if you are a Democrat or a Republican or a Libertarian or whatnot, you can't get funding. So you can do your grassroots campaign. So you can put boots on the ground, and until the rules are made, so that media and social media platforms have to give you free airtime to talk about your cause and agenda while you're running and so on and so forth. This will fund that, but also this will also uh, do take away the advantage that the private investors and the billionaires and the 100 millionaires and the banks can do, and that is if you want to start a business and so on and so forth. What will end up happening is that the group will basically look at look what you have to propose, help do the research, help get the building and everything else, along with finding the people who have the training and education to help you run a successful business. So and also to the money will be also used to lobby until we get rid of lobbying. This pay to play thing. So, but it'll also be for lobbying at the local, state, and federal level, so that people can start businesses, small businesses, and build it up. And one of the things that they're going to have to do is they have to make it a worker co-op company. So that means it's democracy in the workplace. The person who has the idea will get more, but not extravagantly more. So and that's that's what I want. That's what I want to do, and also those people who donate will get a return for the investments that are made into small businesses. So your donation money will and it'll come under a some sort of nonprofit system that corporations and billionaires already use. So basically that's what is going to happen, and the corporations and billionaires and whatnot, they do these nonprofits and they don't have to pay taxes or anything like that. So basically, this is what this whole thing is. It's kind of like a super PAC, but it's a public super PAC, and it is for the public. It's for the working class and then a nonprofit. So what I want to do is make sure that people people that donate get a updated on what money is spent, so it can be completely and utterly transparent. Updates as well as what sort of who's attacking it and trying to delegitimize it and so on and so forth, and or trying to put bias rules, regulations, and so on and so forth against that. So I'll be. I also need people who know more on how to set up something like that, because I personally don't have any idea how to do it. I don't know. I don't know the full details, so I need somebody. I need others to come together to help me do this because we need this so that we can eliminate the bankers and these 100 million and billionaire quote unquote investors who are basically nothing more than robber barons who oftentimes take what you come up with, and because of the rigged system they can basically take it out from under you. I've mentioned Shark Tank before, and those clowns, those supposed investors who basically use the rigged system to basically screw you out of it. And this is my proposal would see to it that that cannot happen. That there are no biases. It's completely and utterly open, and and it's geared to give you the support to run a business, which will be successful and will help the community and allow for ideas that are environmentally, socially, and community conscious. That will uh, that will uplift the community and strengthen the bonds of the community. Uh, I say in a lot of my videos that the a community is just a group of people uh, who then get larger and then creates a country, uh, and that also and with responsible representation we then have a nation. And so uh, we need this. It's with everything that's going on. It's the responsible. It's the moral, ethical. It is the common sense. It is the natural thing to do. So if you see this video, respond to it, and leave me a link to how to get in contact with you so that we can talk about how to start this up. The Republicans and Democrats, Republican and Democratic Party have shown that they are criminals. They are only willing to serve themselves and work and serve those who have money and power. And this will put a crimp, a an adversary, because we need to be adversarial, and so that's what I'd like to do. And the thing is Bernie is an independent, and while I love Bernie's policy. However, I'm not so crazy about him calling people like Cory Booker and you know Schumer and Pelosi and McConnell and Graham and all those his friends. You know, I want political representation that who doesn't call people their friends when they are clearly doing crimes, which goes against the vast majority of the people. And the only reason why it's not called a crime is because they're elected officials, and because the rules and laws and statutes and regulations have basically made it to exempt them from criminal prosecution, because that's what they need to be. They need to be criminally prosecuted. They need to be sent to jail. You know, I'm utterly against people being put in jail for non-violent offenses. Uh, the only people who belong in jail are rapists, murderers, uh, those who embezzle, do con games to embezzle, and so on and so forth. Uh, those that in fact affect tens of thousands to millions of people. Those are the ones that should be in jail, with the key thrown away. So, anyways, that's the end. So, if you are more informed about it, then please leave me, after watching this video, leave me content or other information that will lead me to figure out how to do this. Thanks for your time. Bye.